and you start to unwind that process and start to figure things out and hopefully become better because of it.
Because that's what I love about like your YouTube videos, your social media. Everything's so very analytical and it's very thought provoking, and you always come out as a better martial artist just by reading something you've written or watch something. I'm like, this guy gets it. It's deep. He, truly understands it. But martial arts are scary. There's like 90,000 things to learn for sweeps, throws, takedowns.
Yeah.
Do you go from the Kit Dale, learn the concepts? Do you do the Gordon Ryan, like, I don't know, what, like the super techniques he does? Or do you follow the Roger Gracie approach and go, basics is best? I'll become an expert in the basics. How do you learn jiu-jitsu? What would you recommend somebody their approach to learning?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I'm not sure I have the answer necessarily, to be honest. I think that I've seen a lot of people take those three approaches and more and become very successful practitioners. So I think it comes down to how the individual learns best. Um, for me, it ends up being more conceptual understanding, understanding the big things first. I think when you understand the big things first, you can still be very successful and then dial in the little things. But I think about, I was actually having a discussion with someone who is a high level weapons expert, and he was saying that, hey, listen, I fundamentals. Well, what do the fundamentals mean? I don't even understand what the fundamentals mean. So when people talk about fundamentals, I don't really get that. Well, I kind of I disagree. I think so. The fundamentals are, for me, those concepts that are so important that the execution of that move wouldn't work without them. Right? It's like everyone
Mhm.
gets tied into little specific grips and this and that, but the reality is if the move can be done with this grip, this grip, this grip, this grip, is it the grip or is it there's something else in mind? So I always think about, what are the big things? What are the main things that I need to be aware of? Let's tackle that first. Let's worry about that. And then let's get into the nitty gritty because there is a core to the move. There's always a core to the move that must be executed in a very specific way, or these concepts or principles must be satisfied before the move can actually work. Right? It's like it doesn't matter if I have that core of that move and it's totally incorrect. It doesn't matter how I grip you or what kind of execution I have. It's like if the sprockets aren't touching together, then it doesn't matter. Then nothing's going to move. So it doesn't matter about the stuff on the outside, on the periphery. So I think finding what those core concepts are first and getting the handle on that, I think makes things a lot easier. And for me, it also becomes way easier for me to understand. I mean, imagine memorizing thousands of techniques. Like I have a pretty decent memory, but to memorize thousands and thousands and thousands of techniques, that's very difficult for anybody. Or I
Mhm.
can get a concept that applies to thousands of techniques. I think it's way easier to understand a concept, right, that applies to many different
Definitely.
things than it is to memorize all these techniques. Now, that said, there are a lot of individuals that learn extremely well with a bunch of techniques. Guys have great memories. Guys have great athletic abilities where, they do it once and their body just completely knows what they need to do. For me, uh, before I get really comfortable, it needs to be in here. If it's not in here, I'm okay.